All right, so now we are in module 0.3. Now I want to take about 5 minutes in this module to familiarize you with the marketplace for vulnerabilities. So what marketplace for vulnerabilities mean is that where you can go and buy vulnerability information and exploits, and this is actually very important to understand because a lot of people seem to think that if you don't have a lot of knowledge in software and a lot of knowledge about systems and web browser and web server and so on, you cannot attack systems. And what this information will show you is that you really don't need to know all that stuff. You can actually buy all that. So it turns out that there are websites, even regular websites like hackzone.ru, for example, where you can go and buy information, but in this case you are not buying vulnerability or exploit, but you are buying more the product of hacking, right? So in this case, for example, you can buy credit card information and with the credit card username and account number, expiration date, and the extra information that is required to use those credit card, and people actually go and buy these. But what is more interesting is that since you can, by finding bugs, not all bugs are security bugs, but by finding security bugs, you can actually make money. Now, there are 3 ways to make money from bugs in software. So first is a good one, which is you basically, people who do that are called white hat hackers because they are doing it for good. And different companies, big companies, they have what is called a bug bounty program. So if you find a vulnerability in one of their products, and if you report it, then depending on the vulnerability and its the risk that it poses, you will get various amounts of money. So for example, in Google vulnerability reward program, you can make up to $100,000. Microsoft, similar, $100,000. Mozilla bug bounty program is a little less, so $500 to $3,000. And then some other competitions. There are competitions where you can make money. So this is actually a good place for white hat hackers. And many times, you become a member of a Hall of Fame that they put out on their websites and so on. So this is good. Then there is this various services that actually collect this vulnerability information and actually might actually pay. And they are also for good purposes. They would actually inform the company, so that the patch can be released and so on. And then third is, which is a bad one, which is the black market. So black market is where you go and sell vulnerability that you found, right? So if you find Adobe Reader vulnerability, apparently according to Andy Greenberg of Forbes, in 2012 the rate was from 5,000 to 30,000. So Windows vulnerabilities were going for 60 to 120,000. iOS was going from 100 to 250,000. And in these cases, what you do is, and you don't tell the manufacturer or the software company that whose product is being affected by this, but rather you actually sell it in the black market, which is bad because then somebody is going to exploit it, and it might come out as a zero-day exploit and things like that. But people are making money, and when there is money, there are enough people to do it. Now, we already talked about botnets. So people who own botnets could actually also use the botnet for something called a pay-per-install service or PPI service. So what they do is that they will advertise that if you want a particular exploit or a particular payload to be installed in some other people's machine, they can do it. And if you can somehow install that exploit in those people's machine, then you can actually bring information to yourself. Like, for example, if you install Keylogger, you can get their banking information. And these service providers, they own these machines, and they will negotiate with you the price, and then they will take your code, and then they will install your code onto these machines that they own, and then they will charge you. And in 2011, in a conference, these authors, they actually posed as buyers of this service, and they found the prices at that time. So in 2011, the prices were, if you are The going prices were between $100 to $180 for infecting 1,000 machines in US, and in Asia the rate was $7 to $8 per 1,000 machine. But this might have changed, but you get the idea about how this botnet owners are making money. And this is done, all this negotiation and all this marketplace is actually in the dark net or in the deep web, where you have to get access to various different means like Tor, browser, and so on. So that's the end of module 0.3. So you learned something about the marketplace, and now you can argue with somebody who says that you need very spatial knowledge and technically savvy people to attack your system. And from this information, it's clear that that's not necessarily the case.